The subway, a steel serpent winding beneath the city. It roars with life, with noise, with the stench of humanity. It is a place of shadows and secrets, a place where the city's darkness festers. 4 figures, barely more than silhouettes, moved through the stale air of the subway car. They were young, barely old enough to shave, their eyes glittering with a dangerous light. This was their domain, their hunting ground. Tourists, oblivious in their brightly coloured clothes, were easy prey. Their pockets bulged with cash, their necks adorned with expensive cameras. The teens moved with practiced ease, their fingers light as they relieved their victims of their valuables. Each successful theft brought a rush of adrenaline, a sense of power. They were invincible, untouchable in the anonymity of the crowd. The city above rumbled on, oblivious to the petty crimes unfolding beneath its skin. The leader of the pack, a lanky boy named Razor, smirked. He held up a gleaming watch, the spoils of their latest conquest. The others, Snake, Jinx and Flicker, grunted their approval. They were a motley crew bound together by circumstance and a shared disregard for the rules. Razor, with his sharp eyes and sharper tongue, was the undisputed leader. Snake, silent and deadly, was his second. Jinx, a scrawny kid with nimble fingers, was their lockpick, and Flicker, the youngest, was their lookout, his eyes constantly darting, searching for their next mark. They had a system, a rhythm to their chaos. It was a dangerous game they played, but so far luck had been on their side. They believed they were smarter, faster than anyone else. They were wrong. The train screeched to a halt, the doors hissing open. A new wave of passengers surged in, a sea of faces and smells. Among them, a figure caught Flicker's eye. He was an old man, dressed in a long black coat that seemed to swallow him whole. His face was hidden in the shadows of a wide-brimmed hat. But what chilled Flicker to the bone were his eyes, 2 burning embers in the darkness. Flicker nudged Razor, pointing discreetly. The old man seemed oblivious to their attention, his gaze fixed on some distant point. He carried no bag, his hands clasped behind his back. An easy mark, or so they thought. "This one's different," Flicker whispered, a shiver running down his spine. Razor just laughed, shoving him towards the old man. The game was on. As the train rattled through the darkness, Razor made his move. He bumped into the old man, a practiced maneuver designed to distract. Snake was ready, his hand reaching for the old man's coat pocket, but the old man didn't react. He didn't even flinch. He simply turned his head, those burning eyes fixing on Razor with an intensity that made him recoil. A slow smile spread across the old man's face, a smile that didn't reach his eyes. "Looking for something?" he asked, his voice a soft rasp that seemed to echo through the car. Razor stumbled back, suddenly afraid. He had never encountered anyone like this before, someone who didn't react with fear or anger, someone who seemed to radiate an aura of power, of something ancient and evil. The old man slowly removed his hat, revealing a head of silver hair and a face etched with the passage of centuries. But it was his eyes that held them captive, eyes that seemed to pierce through their very souls. "Do you know who I am?" the old man asked, his voice a low growl that seemed to vibrate in their bones. The teens stood frozen, their bravado crumbling in the face of something they couldn't comprehend. "I am the darkness that whispers in the night," the old man continued, his voice rising in power. "I am the fear that chills you to the core. I am the Prince of Darkness, and you have made a grave mistake." The train screeched to a halt, plunging them into darkness. When the lights flickered back on, the old man was gone, but the air crackled with a palpable sense of dread, a feeling that they had awakened something truly terrifying.